All right, let's get right back to business. This is Market Fatafat, and we've got a whole host of stocks that will be flagging off. We have Mubina joining in, as well as Siddharth Bhamre, and on technicals, Dr. C.K. Narayan and Gaurav Ratnaparki. Well, let's get started then by talking about the big result reaction from last evening or afternoon. And Zee Entertainment is delivered pretty much on all parameters, Mubina.
That it has. Remember, this is after the stock had already run up and then it delivered a good set of numbers. So today we are seeing some follow-up coming in. Though, of course, mind you, the stock price has come off from the day's high, but that's really been in line with the rest of the market as well. But what exactly has Zee Entertainment done in the quarter gone by? Well, first up, earnings have been above estimates. It's undoubtedly been a strong quarter, not to mention the ad revenue as well as the subscription revenue. Both were growing at a clip of more than 20%. Even on the domestic front, the domestic ad revenues grew 20.6%, with overall ad revenues growing a little over 21%. Brokerages too, after these results, have mostly maintained an optimistic stance. CLSA has a buy with a target at 670 rupees. They also are forecasting a 19% EPS CAGR in FY19 to 21.
All right, watch out for Zee Entertainment. Brokerages clearly seem to be very upbeat. Let's move right on then and focus in on other stocks that are active in trade today. And GAIL is having a fairly good run. Dr. Narayan, do you sense that this movement is here to stay?
Well, I think GAIL is, caught in a bit of a range, and it's bounded on the downside by a very good support zone, which is definable around 325. So there's not too much on the downside if you were to look at it. But at the same time, one must also observe here on the charts that the stock lacks any upside momentum right now. So therefore, longer term players can look to buy with a stop loss below 325. But your rewards may not be quick in coming, particularly since the sector as a whole is not buoyant and the stock itself is caught in a range.
All right, that's the take coming in on GAIL 329 and counting. Meantime, Reliance Industries, and it has seen a pretty firm rally of late, and the momentum is continuing. But tomorrow is D-Day, if you will, with respect to the numbers. Gaurav, how should one position themselves ahead of that big event?
Reliance basically was trading in sideways manner for last two sessions. In terms of price pattern, it formed a symmetrical triangle and broke out on the upside in the last session with decent volumes. So in terms of price pattern, it formed a wave B in triangle, and now we are witnessing wave C on the upside, which means that the stock can attempt channel equality, which means that the stock has a potential to head towards 1180 over the next few sessions.
All right, that's the take coming in on Reliance Industries, 1137. Moving on then, Jet Airways sure continues to hog the limelight day after day. Today the stock is down nearly 6%, but remember, it's been seeing very diverse moves this entire week. Today the latest is that the ET report suggests that Etihad wants easing of the preferential share norms, relaxation in the pricing of preferential shares, and an exemption from the open offer. And of course, we have that all-important meet where the banks are going to explore the rejig options. The lenders are going to be meeting today. We'll have to wait and watch what emerges from the same. Ahead of that, 274, Jet Airways is a newsmaker today. Moving on to stock number 5, and from the Tata stable, Siddharth, it's Tata Global Beverages that catches your eye. Seeing quite a decent move today. What are volumes looking like?
Well, volumes are pretty high in today's trading session, but what has attracted my attention is the way price action is happening today, Avan. We are seeing decent volumes, decent formation of long position, and stock has this key resistance around 224. The way things are panning out, it seems that it would go and at least touch that resistance, if not breach.
All right, that's the take coming in on Tata Global Beverages. Siddharth talking about a key resistance at 224. Moving on then to Pharma, Dr. Reddy's is a newsmaker today, but let's also talk about how the stock is trading. Absolutely flat. Dr. Narayan, what is your technical take?
Well, I think, like you mentioned, it is trading flat. It's not just trading flat for today. It's been trading so for quite a while right now. Again, here you have a clear support zone bounded around 2570. Now, trends are currently flat and will actually turn better only after the stock stages the breakout past the top end of the range, which is at about 2680. So, no trades to be taken right now, but a breakout of the range can be awaited. There is a possibility that it could break out on either side, so one needs to be a little on the alert here.
All right, that's important to take note of. Nonetheless, Dr. Narayan flagging off all those levels. Meantime, Mubina, let's talk about another result reaction. KPIT Technologies, while there is an attempt for a pullback, all in all, the stock is looking weak on account of numbers.
Well, yes, the Q3 numbers certainly have missed the mark. Profits have come in at just about 64 odd crore rupees. The estimates, the ET poll was pegging the figure at 84 crore rupees. So it's quite a sharp miss that has come in from KPIT Technologies. Other numbers too have been a bit disappointing if we have to look at it on a consolidated basis. Sequentially as well, the profits have fallen to the tune of about 6.5%. That's revenues at 564 crore rupees. Margins as well have compressed by almost 400 basis points from 15.3 to 11.5%. So across the board, it's missed the mark, and that's the reason why the stock's trading lower, though. However, it's making an attempt to recover.
All right, that's the take coming in on KPIT Tech. And yes, as we speak, the pullback seems to be fairly evident, but 211 is where the stock is perched at the moment. Let's move on then and talk about a stock that's active in trade today, and Avanti Feeds is looking strong. Let's understand, Gaurav, is this a bit of a flash in the pan move? What's the general trend?
Yeah, basically, Avanti Feeds witnessed a significant correction which lasted for more than a year. For last few months, however, the stock is forming a base for itself. And if we look at the recent price action, then the stock has a good support at around 370 levels. So this is a good level to initiate a fresh long position. Even the risk-reward ratio at current level is quite attractive. So my recommendation is to buy this counter with stop loss placed at 369, and target from short to medium term perspective would be 430, which is close to weekly upper Bollinger Band.
All right, keep an eye out. It's a buy recommendation coming in from Gaurav. Moving on then, IDFC first, and you did see this morning as well the listing of the new entity, and at a price of about 47.2 on NSE. Remember, 39 IDFC Bank shares have been given for 10 Capital First, and this happened post the Capital First merger. Just a short while ago as well, we heard out the management as well talking about how the ROE will take time to build up and that it will improve once the retail portion rises. Capital First has 15 to 16% loan book, and the yields of the retail loans as well are going to improve going forward. 48.2, that's IDFC First. At number 10 then, PNB is a stock that's in focus in trade today, and in fact on the back of high volumes, it's flexing its muscles, Siddharth.
Well, yes, and it's not first day that it's doing that. We are seeing consistency in PNB, and that's a strange statement for a bank like PNB, which has been marred by a lot of controversy in last 1 year or so. What we are observing is that there is formation of long position in future segment. Volumes are decent. It has given a breakout a few days back. Now it is decisively moving above its 200 DMA. So keep eye on this name.
84.4, and yes, as you said, this trend has been fairly evident. So PNB continuing 3% higher. Moving on then, at number 11, let's check in on Chambal Fertilizers. And Dr. Narayan, you believe that this is a buy on dips opportunity. So do you believe that it would need to cool off further, say sub 160, or now is a good time?
Well, I would think if I were to, check the patterns that are developing on the weekly charts, which seem to be quite attractive, and the fact that, nearer to the budget, all these fertilizer stocks always get into some action. I would think Chambal Fertilizer, which has had a decent run, is in the hands of the bulls, and any pullback, particularly towards around, let's say, 150-55 levels, would present us with a definite buying opportunity. So those who are desirous of buying can probably buy it in a scaled manner, but stock is certainly on the mend, and it deserves to be bought.
It deserves to be bought. That's the word coming in from Dr. Narayan. Let's move right on then and talk about another result reaction, and one that's buzzing away on a high, if you will. Specialty restaurants, and what was so special about the numbers, Mubina?
Well, it was a turnaround story that has perhaps been scripted by specialty restaurants. What an uptick coming by in the stock price as well, and correctly reflecting the Q3 numbers that have certainly been very, very strong. In fact, while the revenues have grown a little over 24%, what's even more interesting is the fact that the margin story has really picked up a lot of steam, and that is something that led to the profits as well just surge a whopping 12 times from just about 70 lakh rupees in the corresponding quarter to 8.5 crore rupees. So I suppose operating leverage now slowly kicking in, and that's the reason why the stock price is now in fact locked on the upper circuit.
97 rupees is where specialty is, and yes, the comeback story, it's been an A-grade set of numbers. Meantime, at number 13, then Reliance Infrastructure. In fact, the entire ADAG basket is quite active in trade today. Gaurav, how are you placing your bets on Reliance Infra close to the 320 mark?
Reliance Infra is forming a pullback which has turned out to be a deeper one. So far it has retraced 38.2% of the November-December fall and can stretch till 50% retracement mark. However, this is just a pullback and is unlikely to develop into a larger structure on the upside. So the upside potential basically looks limited. So I wouldn't recommend a fresh long position at current level. And on the higher side, 325, 330 would be the crucial resistance zone to watch out for.
Alright, thanks for that take, 2.5%, and Gaurav is talking about a limited upside potential here. Meantime, let's check in on Bharat Forge as well. That continues to remain on the brokerage radar today. HSBC has maintained a buy, although they've trimmed the target from 800 to 600 rupees per share. They believe that the valuation comfort will make the ride less bumpy, but there still are lingering concerns. That is the trade war as well as the slowdown in the CV market, but that all seems to be factored into the price. They going forward see a diversified portfolio, new products and stronger balance sheet, and that's going to insulate the company. So although they've slashed the target price, they maintain a buy rating. Let's move on to stock number 15 and flag off Grasim, Mr. Dath.
Is seeing some signs of positivity. In fact, cement stocks have stopped falling. Grasim being the holding company, it moves in that direction. Second day, that we are seeing a strong bounce back, and this bounce back is coming from its 800 support. We are seeing very high volumes in cash market segment. So this is also one of the stock which after consolidation is showing some signs of recovery.
Alright, that's the view coming in from Siddharth on Grasim at 8:31. Let's keep the countdown going then, and at number 16, take a look at Cummins. What's the sense that you're getting, Dr. Narayan? Where is it that you see the stock headed, and do you believe that we could continue to see a lot of selling pressure kicking in?
On the contrary, I would think, Cummins has been witnessing a little bit of steady progressing uptrend. But that progress has now brought it to the side of the 50% retracement zone, where it is encountering some amount of resistance. But the price damage from that resistance seems to be a little limited. So then, therefore, clearly the sellers do not really have too much conviction right now, which might lead to continued progress of this trend, and that can be expected to take the prices towards the next target resistance, which lies around 920. So my belief is that Cummins is a stock to be bought during dips, and we should maintain a bullish bias.
Okay, that's stock to keep on your radar, 857. Dr. Narayan believes that the progress could continue to a resistance target of 920. Meantime, Indoco Remedies is a newsmaker today, Mubina.
Well, yes, this morning the Economic Times has reported that the company is said to be in initial discussions with investors like Zydus, Kerala, Lupin, along with private equity funds like even TPG Capital to sell a part of its domestic business in a deal valued at 5 to 600 crore rupees. This would help the company focus on its higher margin global business. However, we did have Indoco clarifying that no part of its domestic business is up for sale at this point of time. The stock has completely given up those early morning gains subsequently.
Oh yes, indeed. Now just about hovering around the 222 mark. On that note then, we're timed out right here on the show. So thanks much for joining in, and thank you for watching.